Third World Cinema Club.
Hello guys, welcome to all of our episodes are special. Welcome to an episode of Third World Cinema Club.
Lahat na lang special eh.
Una pala fail na no? I'm John Tawasel from Present Confusion.
I'm Engelbert Rafferty. I go by Cine de Calibre on Letterboxd.
Hi, I'm Jim of Jimmy Licola at iba pa.
I'm DJ Ramones of ReverseDelay.net.
I'm Princess Kinok of Film Police Reviews.
And finally,
I'm Richard Bolisay, and I'm myself.
palakpakan po natin.
I am my own person.
I am my own person. So today we're gonna talk about the films of the recently concluded Q Cinema International Film Festival. Yan. So, yung Q ba sa Q Cinema ay quality or hindi?
Queer.
Queer?
Quantity nga naisip ko.
95% queer.
Quantity, quaint, di ka na. Depende na. So, we're gonna talk first about the Asia Next Wave entries, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the shorts, and then for our last segment, we're gonna talk. Each of us is gonna talk about one non-competition film that we liked, or maybe not liked in the festival. Yeah. So, let's start with Kaaway sa Sulod, directed by R.B. Barbarona. It's about a military person who encounters an NPA after a botched situation, and as it turns out, they look exactly the same. So what's happening? What's going on? Ayun. So who's seen Kaaway sa Sulod? Raise your hands. Ayan.
I count
Ayan.
1, 2,
Jim,
3.
kamusta ang Kaaway sa Sulod?
4.
Nangaawa yung pelikula eh.
Naaaway.
Tell us why.
Why?
Good point muna. Ako ay commend si Dion Monsanto because it's a dual role. So hindi naman madali kapag gumanap ka ng dual role. And ang magaling naman kay Dion Monsanto, kasi kapag diba dual role siya and may required kasi na accent dun sa mga roles. So for me, naitawid naman yun ni Dion Monsanto. Ang negative point, I believe, ng pelikula ay magulo siya. Hindi malinaw yung mensahe na gustong iparating sa audience. Tapos for me, parang naging preachy siya yung pelikula. Hindi naman to faith-based film, pero nagiging preachy siya. So, yun yung negative point for me ng pelikula. And at the same time, hindi pulido yung editing, ganon. Hindi consistent yung lighting ng pelikula. Ayun.
DJ.
Preachy ba ito dahil lang dun sa eksena ni General Rapatan? Or may iba pang mga elemento?
May iba pang elemento. Kasi parang, pwede ko kasing isipin as an audience na propaganda film siya. Or, ano siya paano ba?
Propaganda on the side of, aling side ng politics?
Side ng Rebel. Oh, Rebel.
Rebel.
Yun yung nakikita ko dun sa pelikula. Basta naguguluhan ako dun sa ano talaga yung message ng pelikula. Yun. Although it's not a bad film.
Chard, your thoughts?
Ako gusto ko yung pagiging openly political ng pelikula. I think it's a kind of film that we really need now and very much reflective of the time. So hindi naman gusto ko yung pagiging malinaw niya in terms of which side of politics the filmmakers are on. Very strong yung script nito. I've read it during the selection committee of Q Cinema. And I think nahirapan kasi talaga si RB maghanap ng co-funding. And thereby, medyo nag-suffer din yung technical quality ng pelikula.
Yun, halata talaga
So,
siya.
sabi ko nga sa kanya, parang sana itaas natin yung antas ng filmmaking because the script itself requires that kind of more sophisticated filmmaking. Kasi malaki yung hinihingi ng script. Dalawang characters, complicated na sides ng soldiers and rebels, etc. Nakita ko yung complexity. Although I think yung naging problem ko din sa kanya is that the politics is quite black or white. So may evil, may good. So nawala yung nuance for me yung intricacy lang nung tinatalakay niyang subject.
Caricaturist na nga yung figure ni General Rapatan dito.
Very palparan. Obviously, si palparan siya.
Yun. I agree with dun sa yung politics niya. It follows from Tupug Imatoy naman na clear yung hindi nga siya parang advocacy na siya eh. Dahil ganun ka-strong yung view niya on this situation in our country. Pero yun nga, consensus naman sa atin na yung execution talaga niya na coming from Tupug Imatoy na medyo realist. I mean, as is. Pero ito, genre na yung atake niya eh. Di ba? Parang nagkaroon ng dapat exciting siya. So may action din na full-on
Parang siya
action scene.
thriller
Yan.
at the start eh. Tapos afterwards, iba na yung approach niya.
Ano siya? Political action thriller siya.
Yeah.
Yun talaga.
Na mas naging political than the action thriller. I think sa Tupug Imatoy, hindi man ako ganun ka-fan, mas umangkop din naman yung filmmaking na medyo
Ganun
di ba?
Tupug Imatoy.
Medyo hindi ganun ka-sophisticated kasi yung subject matter hindi naman nangangailangan ng sophistication. Ito kasi mataas yung antas ng niya.
Parang ambitious, we could say.
Ambitious.
Tingin ko kung nabigyan ng mas marami pang oras to polish it to have more money to actually
funding.
Oo, funding. Oo.
Siguro nga. Kasi kahit ako, aminado, hindi naman talaga siya bad film.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Lang,
film.
Not a bad film. It's just that, naguluhan ako talaga. Parang, ano bang term doon? Information overload siya eh. Habang pinapanood mo siya. Yun. So, for me, hindi malinaw sa akin kung ano ba talaga yung mo. Kasi di ba yung nga sabi nga, genre film siya, political action thriller film, pero hindi siya naging effective that way eh. Yun.
Kayo, John, and
Pero nakaka-curious yung pangalan nung General Rapatan. Do you think it's a play on words?
Yun eh, may pa-joke ako sa Letterboxd na kung NPA ba si Rapatan, Karapatan yung pangalan.
pero dahil hindi siya NPA, hindi na kompleto yung karapatan.
Hindi kompleto yung karapatan, walang rights.
May isa siyang mahabang eksena yung yung nagtatalakay siya nung Nazism na isang long take na in itself maganda siya pero parang tingin ko sa kabuuan ng pelikula parang medyo nag-fall short lang din kasi parang hindi siya sa akin hindi siya talaga nagko-cohere dun sa film language ng pelikula na which makes me think na may mga pelikula talaga na hindi pang grand festivals na 6 months or 7 months na binibigay. May mga pelikula na kailangan talaga mas matagal na oras para umayos, mapolish, mapaganda. So, yun, I think okay ding erase na issue yun about these kinds of festivals.
At Chard, having read the script, yan, anong parts doon sa original script yung sana nakita mo doon sa final product?
Very compelling kasi yung script. Like, talaga, yung dalawang characters, yung rebel na Dion Monsanto, tsaka yung soldier na Dion Monsanto. Oo. Yung kanilang pag-meet sa gitna ng pelikula, talaga, mataas yung build-up. So parang hindi ko naramdaman yung compellingness na yun sa film. And I think they also had to revise a few sequences para mas madali ma-shoot. So siguro hindi man dun sa actual scenes, it's more of the tone of the film that compels you, draws you to it. Like yung eksena na yung itatakas yung 'di ba parang papasukin nila yung bahay. That's supposed to feel like, like
Super,
at the edge of your seat kind
Parang
of.
dapat tense yung
intense
talaga
siya.
na eksena.
Doon medyo naging artsy na. Well, I don't mean artsy in a good way, but medyo kulang siya sa energy.
Yan.
May napansin ako noon, may napansin akong eksena doon na parang may nahulog.
Ano yung nahulog?
Yung stuntman ata yun. Kasi hindi sinama siya eh. Hindi siya parang tinanggal. So parang feeling ko, legit na nahulog talaga yung stuntman. Kasi walang walang harness something.
Kumusta na kaya siya?
So,
Ako naman same sentiment sa inyong lahat. Parang sayang na oportunidad. Pero yun nga, I think it says a lot about yung stress ng very short production times for festivals like this. Kaya yun, it's a victim of parang yung sistema ng paggawa ng pelikula natin ngayon for festivals. Unfortunately, pero keep making films. In the
So,
future.
dapat meron pang like another screening ng like mas polished na version.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, kung may pera siya.
Hashtag release the Barbie cut.
Barbie cut talaga.
Although nung kinausap ko siya during the awards night after the screening, yun nga, keep making films kasi doon mo naman ma-realize sa mga previous works mo yung mga dapat mong ginawa, kung pwede ka maghantay. Sabi ko nga, actually, kung magbaback out ka nga, magigets ko siya eh. Kasi kumbaga, it's for the betterment of the film. Pero syempre, I guess it's not in his options. Pero, ayun, there's something that you can learn from your previous works in terms of time, in terms of money, etc.
Filmmaking is a learning process.
No. I have one last question. I have a question na pala. Katanga tayong question for this one. Although hindi ko siya napanood. Pero naalala ko si Tupog Imatoy, parang nagka-issue siya before. Linking RB to CPP and PA. Ganon. So, ang napansin ko lang sa Mindanao Films, parang, is it, yung kaaway sa sulod ba, may interpretation ba siya of a different kind of life of rebels, ganon? Or
Sa Mindanao?
was it trying to do that? Or or
I guess in a more general sense. Kasi di ba very militarization sa Mindanao. Parang it touches on that, pero kasi hindi tied masyado sa place yung pelikula. Although nagsisebuano yung isang Dion Monsanto, dalawa kasi sila, diba? Pero other than that, hindi siya nakatali to a certain parang region. Parang in general lang. Kasi si Palparan, he was operating in Luzon, di ba?
oo.
So, parang it's more generalized.
Mas na-feel ko na hanggang ngayon, mas very pervasive pa rin yung yung militarization sa mga lugar sa Mindanao na kumbaga nagpapatuloy pa rin yung repression sa mga maliliit na communities na may dahilan kung bakit sila nag-aamas, may dahilan kung bakit sila namumundok, may pinaglalaban pa rin silang ideology. Na tingin ko mahalaga pa rin maisa pelikula. Kumbaga parang ito yung mga boses na hindi natin naririnig kasi malayo tayo. Obviously, nasa Maynila tayo, very privileged tayo not to be in their position. Kaya ako very welcoming ako sa ganung stories. Mas concern ko din na sana maitawid din yung mga ganung pelikula na mas maipaunawa yung ano. And tingin ko naman nag-succeed naman yung pelikula in that regard. Na nakita natin kung paano yung pagmamalabis na na ginagawa ng mga milita sa mga common people.
So, let's move on to the next film. It's Nakorn Sawan. It's a Thai film. Yan. It's directed by Puang Soy Aksorn Sawang. It ties two parang threads. The first one is parang documentary style footage of the filmmaker herself and her family up to the point of her mother's death. And the second one is actually very similar. There's this woman who's also a film student who studied abroad.
Presumably the filmmaker
Yeah,
herself.
para siyang filmmaker avatar, you know. She's traveling along a boat where she encounters family and friends, and they're there to send off her recently deceased mother as well. So, ayun, tayong dalawa lang ba, Chard, na nakapanood? Ayun, Chard, what did you think of ganon? Could you tell?
Part siya syempre part ako ng jury, so napanood ko siya.
Yeah.
Gusto ko yung film. I'm very moved by it. I really like how sabi nga ni Jewel, ayaw kasi namin yung term na hybrid. Kasi parang term na hybrid, masyado na siyang overused today. Kausap ko si Jewel Maranan kagabi. Sabi niya, it's still a documentary.
Yeah.
Despite using some fictionalized aspects, like very freely, dramatized. Reenactments. Pero kasi 'di ba, yung main core ng pelikula, it's still documenting her own experience before her mother died and
The
nung
document
namatay
si
na,
Princess.
'di ba? So lalo na yung ending ng pelikula, sobrang na-move ako coming from someone na may namatay na mother din. Sobrang na-feel ko yung kanyang longing for her, the pain that she felt going through it, and the difficulty of expressing that.
Yeah, parang siya eh. It's like she's using the film as a process for self-healing eh. Parang film as therapy or filmmaking as therapy ba? Gusto ko din siya actually. It's a very interesting experience.
Actually, kaya inawardan din namin siya nung best editing kasi we feel like how the film was stitched together, the use of photographs, the use of Skype interviews, the use of phone calls. Maraming elements yung film na nag-incorporate ng iba't ibang forma din para mai-convey yun.
Yeah. So it's kaya gusto ko ding it's made to evoke something din eh. Parang also as therapy and also as sharing something with your audience.
Maganda rin yung pagtalakay niya nung yung character kasi siya, master student siya sa Berlin,
Yeah.
sa Europa. Tapos yung family niya nag-work sa isang plantation, parang medyo provincial, medyo rural. So, na-feel mo yung character na, lumabas dun sa kanyang sa
kanyang
kanyang
safe.
origins, tapos naiwan yung family, tapos nagpunta sa isang very developed country, and then yung distance between them, yung pag-articulate nung ganun. Oo.
Yun it's in a way yung mga parang homecoming films, 'di ba? Yung parang reconnecting with things you have disconnected from. Like, 'di ba, with the fictional segments, yung kanyang parang meron siyang ex-lover or something like that.
Na may monk.
Na naging monk. It's also a reflection of what she went through when she came home after.
May journey na.
May journey.
Lumabas.
Mabagal din yung pelikula, no?
Yeah.
Pero it's some sort of an immersive experience na you really get to know her.
Yeah.
You really get to know the family.
Are there kasi if I'm not mistaken, si Anocha was producer in this film. Parang may nakikita ko may pagka-Anocha doon sa sa pagka-structure ng pelikula eh. Although yung kay Anocha, it's more of yung instead of just like a personal memory, parang it's a collective national memory yung kanya This addresses its themes in a more personal level, parang mas individual kumbaga.
Mas accessible to compared to some Anocha's films.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also about something related to the subject matter, which is family.
Family,
And, losing a loved one.
Na-curious tuloy ako bigla kasi sabi niyo po, fiction and documentary siya at the same time. So parang may pagka-meta ba? May elements of meta ba?
Yeah, I mean,
na-approach yung film?
They're melding with each other. Like we said before, yung character dun sa parang fictional segments, it's like an avatar character of the actress herself. Of the filmmaker herself. So, parang there are owing din to the editing. There may parang na
So naging
nagme-meld.
intertwine siya.
Yeah, they meld together to form this very interesting mood piece, kumbaga. Ayan. So, basically yun. Let's go to the next film, Ave Mariam.
Hi, Char.
Sa wakas,
I'm
di ba? Yan.
Okay. So,
Ave Mariam is an Indonesian film.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's about this nun. She lives or she works in a parang home for the aged for nuns. So parang caretaker siya of nuns. And then one day she meets this priest who comes there to teach. Young priest who teaches parang music or something like that. Parang naging conductor siya. And they have an affair. Yes.
Makasoap
Because I love God, but I also love
you
si
can't
Father.
have a madre with a pogi priest without anything
Mahal ko siya,
happening.
pero mahal din kita.
Ganon.
The modern the nun story. Ni Audrey Hepburn.
So, guys, how many have seen Ave Mariam?
Ave Mariam.
Yeah, me.
So,
And
akin,
Princess, what did you think?
Well, it's actually not something na shocking pag pinalabas siya dito sa atin. So, kaya siguro ako, hindi rin ako na-shock. Pero, imagining it being played sa Indonesia
Yeah.
would be very controversial. So, 50-50 ako dito. Nagustuhan ko yung the way it was actually interpreted, tsaka yung bawat eksenang pagpe-play leading up to the part na nagkainlaban sila and they were very lustful and sinful as well. What I didn't like about it was that sayang yung strength nung dalawang characters. But I found a lot of symbolic ideas into play, kagaya nung part ng orchestra na tinatry gawin ng pare na wala sa tono.
Medyo sintonado.
Parang sa akin, feeling ko, metaphor siya ng pagka-infatuation nilang dalawa. Na akala nila they're going into something real, pero they're not sure as well. Kasi nga, ano bang point mo, ba't ka nandun?
There's
Is it-
something off with the tone.
Yeah, medyo off yung tone. So parang sa akin, tinanggap ko siya. Ang weird kasi hindi nga ako Catholic or anything. So parang sa akin, pero parang ako, nung pinapanood ko siya, sabi ko, parang kung Catholic ako, ma-offend ako. Kasi parang, eto na naman isang palabas about lust and sin being played with our own beliefs, ganyan. So what is it trying to portray na we're just people? Or is it trying to point out na in this diverse world, wala talagang perfect, ganon? You know, parang may kulang siyang element for me na I didn't really understand where this was going to. And na-compare ko siya dun sa movie ni Gael Garcia Bernal before.
The Crime of Padre
The
Amaro.
Crime of, oo.
Padre Amaro.
Yun talaga ang winner, na parang,
Ay, yung pumunta sila sa beach, tapos naghubad sila.
oo, kasi doon, intense talaga, as in to the point na, hindi lang, not one, not two sins, but 5 sins, gano'n. Nakamit nila.
I-checklist ng
Package
10 commandments.
scenes.
Okay.
Oo. Pero I admire the portrayal of the lead actress.
Galing.
And yung lalaki. Yung lalaki, napanood ko siya before sa... Yeah, I know, right?
Sa double twisting. Ganun.
Double twisting. At saka sa ano din, sa... Yung coffee something. Oo. Nakalimutan ko yung title. Sabaw eh, no? Pero yun.
Ako, yeah, it's the film is a mood. Agree ako sa na it's something we've seen before, lalo na sa atin. There's a sort of parang cultural specificity na nawala no pumunta sa atin. Kasi iba yung experience natin sa mga Indonesians. Indonesia is a very conservative society. They're predominantly Muslim. So, ito Catholic, so it's a minority religion, tas dito pa sila nag-depict ng parang ano.
Oo, yun
Parang-
so parang sa akin din.
Provocative siya on 2 levels, eh, no?
Oo. Ini-imagine ko, okay, Muslim country talaga ang Indonesia. So, why are you showing us something controversial?
And for another religion.
And for
another
another
religion.
religion. So, what's the point? Parang ganun.
Baka pag
So,
ginawa niyang sa Muslim yun, baka
Tas-
mas malalo silang ma-offend.
Ang funny nga kasi may isang part doon na nagbabike, yung naglalakad sila sa city, silang yung priest siya kay nun. Tapos may dumaang Muslim, tapos wala silang pake doon sa
Oo.
dalawang main character. So parang ko, yun yung medyo maganda for me.
May weird lang na eksena yung nagpunta sila ng beach, tapos naghubad yung babae.
Naghubad yung babae.
Tapos naghubad din yung lalaki. As in, all out hubad so parang very mainstream yung atake na umiikot yung camera sa mukha nila. Yung malakas yung mataas yung antas ng technical aspect
Yeah,
ng
it's
pelikula.
very gorgeous.
Yung composition composition ng images, yung stillness ng frames.
Yeah.
So dun ako na-draw rather than the subject matter. Na yun nga highly dramatic yung pelikula. Napanood na natin to, bata pa lang tayo. Pero I guess, showing some respect to the filmmakers, it's nung sabi nga nung actress nung after the screening, 'di ba? They went through hell for this in the sense na parang they had a hard time showing this to Indonesian audiences.
Yes. What did you think of the third act, Chard? Kasi for me, di ba, the film sometimes withholds information from us. Para sa third act, medyo nasobrahan ako sa pag-withhold nila na tipong, parang may pagka-bitin yung resolution niya. Although hindi naman talaga bitin siya, pero parang parang nakulangan ako ng konti sa kanya.
I think nag-uugat pa rin yun kasi sa pagiging conservative ng pelikula. So, conservative yung pelikula from start to end. It's not trying to be edgy. It's not trying to show like, things na... Actually, maski sa end, di ba, hindi nga nagtagumpay yung love. So, parang defeatist pa rin yung kanyang tone na parang there are bigger things operating around our love story. Although very contrived for me yung nasa confession na nag-confess kasi yung babae in the end. Tapos it turns out yung pinag-confessan niya na priest, yung guy. So, akala ko nung una, hindi alam nung girl na yung priest yung kausap niya. Although nung may nakausap ako ng ibang audiences, based on the acting of the guy, his facial expression, alam niya. Ikaw ba? Feeling ko kasi hindi niya alam.
Feel ko, ako alam niya. Or at least meron siyang kutob. Sinilip niyang ganun.
Kasi nag-long shot siya eh. Una nakikita mo lang yung girl. Tapos nag-long shot siya, nakita mo na nila yung kausap niya yung guy. So parang in one frame, nakikita mo yung complexity ng acting nila na someone confessing and someone listening to her. Ganyan.
Kasi kung meron silang relation, they would know the sound of their voice.
If you love someone, you would know the sound of her voice.
So,
Main sila pa rin.
What if parang, pwede naman yung reading niya is parang symbolic lang? Parang they're confessing to each other but not physically?
I mean, contrived siya in the sense na implausible na hindi nila alam yon. Okay. Pero meaningful yun di ba? Yung
Yeah,
irony nung confession
Although by that part, nakabitaw na ako sa film eh. Parang, tubusin na natin to. Mga ganun na akong mode.
Pero dahil conservative siya, may pagka-melodramatic din ba yung
Yes,
approach?
very much.
Sobra.
Super. Pero I love the technicalities of it, especially music.
Yeah, it's ang ganda,
Kasi
ganda ng
the
pelikula.
guy is very hip na priest na parang pati yung mga madre pinapasayaw niya. And nagyoyosi siya, ganun, sa harap ng habang nag-pray siya at night, ganun, nagyoyosi. So parang,
Interesting din yung approach niya with, kasi yung mga old nuns, they're very accepting, kumbaga,
of him.
of him. Tsaka yung,
And-
medyo yung relationship no? Para sige, sundan nyo yan, pero alamin nyo kung ano yung pinapasok nyo.
Oo.
I guess it stems din from the fact na matanda na sila, marami na silang pinagdaanan. No doubt, some of them have gone through the same thing. Parang test of faith nila yon. Na,
Tas,
diba?
maganda siya actually kasi nung una, ayoko sa kanya kasi parang walang resolution, wala siyang point. Pero the more that I think about it, parang nisip ko, siguro yung point ng filmmaker is not to have the point na matapos siya na we are all sinners. Parang they're in a very complicit place to be Catholics in a country na hindi naman accepting sa Catholics.
Kumaga ayaw niya mag-dictate ng kahit anong info or kahit anong belief sa kahit sinong tao. Parang ganun ba yun?
Hindi siya nag-impose, you mean?
Tsaka may dalawang levels of difficulty din na in a sense na minority yung Catholic sa country, tapos minority din yung love story nila.
Yeah.
Na parang nakikita mo yung layers of struggle they're going through as characters.
Yan. Okay, let's move on to the next film. Yan.
Yay!
Wow.
Ayan na.
Lahat ba nakapanood nito?
Ng babae at
Yeah. So the next film is Ray Red's Babae at Baril. It stars Janine Gutierrez. She's
as the girl.
as the girl with the gun as a gun.
Less girl.
So she's a department store sales lady who is she lives in a society. Ganun na lang yung sabihin natin. And then one day she comes across a gun and she learns of the power that this gun can bring her. On the other hand, it also segues into the process of creating this gun and the history of violence it carries with it. So, all of us have seen this film. Yeah, DJ, what did you think of Babae?
Para tong kaaway sa sulod in the sense na yung kung gaano sila ka-preachy or gaano sila ka-strong in terms of what they're trying to say. So, very clear, parang especially yung first act, para siyang may checklist ng scenarios of na we have to reconsider in society.
Yeah.
Yung very fact na department store clerk siya, na naka-uniforme siya, very strict yung standards for appearances, ganyan.
They're para silang put on display din
Tapos yun, parang para siyang revenge fantasy, di ba, na
Yes,
in a way. So overall, fun yung movie. Sobrang enjoyable siya. Ang ganda ng pagkaka-execute. I think. Pero yung biggest problem ko dito, which ang nagsabi nito actually si Tristan, na I share sentiment naman, yung structuring niya. Kasi it fizzles out by the end.
True.
Yung structure niya. Sabi ni Tristan, narinig daw niya na yung pitch nito ay, yung structure niya is the girl's story before she gets the gun. Tapos, yung gun muna. So, sundan yung history ng gun from its creation up until it finds its way to the girl. And then sa third act na yung part na after she gets the gun, yung buong empowerment phase. Pero anong nangyari kasi sa pelikula is, the girl's oppression part, quote-unquote, tapos yung empowerment part, and then it goes to the gun story, and then back to the story na yung after nung may climactic confrontation, ganyan. Pero by that time kasi parang na-exhaust na yung effect nung empowerment. So parang medyo inconsequential na yung ending niya. So parang wala. Pangit yung last part niya.
Kumbaga, you put into question whether the story of the gun was necessary.
No. The ordering, yung sequencing nung parts ng story. So they should have put the part where the girl gets the gun after the gun story.
Yeah, yung gumaganti na siya with yung mas assertive na siya
With
and
Felix
stuff.
Rocco.
Pero di ba importante na makita na, I mean logically, makita mo paano niya nakuha yung gun bago mo ipakita yung history ng gun. Kasi parang it doesn't make sense to show, to connect. Kasi yun yung
Yeah.
yun yung kinonect nung Asin na song eh. Yung dalawang story na yung babae at then yung barrel.
Yeah,
So,
pero up until dun sa point lang na nakuha na niya yung gun.
Nakuha na niya yung gun, di ba?
Kasi yun naman yung ending nung gun section eh.
okay.
Pero do you think even without the story of the gun, magwo-work na yung story lang alone?
Kasi
No.
ito ako.
It would be a lot less interesting.
Yeah, kasi when I first watched it, I still had my doubts para dun sa middle part. Tapos I talked it out with yung kasama ko manood doon si Philbert D tsaka si Ricky Lee. Nag-usapan namin yung film. And then parang nakuha ko na so yun nga, like DJ said, it's a revenge fantasy it looks like a revenge fantasy at the start, diba? Girl gets the gun, parang she gets back at society with this gun. But then dinideconstruct siya with this second act. Parang what is the function of this gun in society, diba?
The cost of
Yeah.
a gun, ganyan. Of
Yung
violence.
interpretation ko first of the gun is power, but it's also violence. And we see that violence in both subtle and unsubtle ways doon sa pag-treat nila sa character ni Janine Gutierrez.
Yes.
Not just in violence, sexual violence, physical violence, but also yung normal violence, yung nagko-commute siya araw-araw na sobrang tagal,
Yung-
pipila siya na hindi siya makaano.
Yung parang simple oppression of being in this unjust
oppression.
society na
Yung just being a girl in the society alone.
a girl or even just a person in this
A
kind
girl
of
or just a
society
person,
na ang lala
There's
ng
also may
traffic
levels siya
natin.
na yun nga, a person in general, and also yung gendered na oppression na yung pagtrato sa kanya ng mga lalaki. So yun, may history nun. Tapos nung una kong dun sa, kasi spoiler alert, hindi yung there's supposed to be a cathartic moment na papatayin na niya yung sa kanya
Si Felix Rocco.
Felix Rocco. But she abandoned that because she's it in itself is another parang cathartic moment, quote unquote, because she's rejecting the system that created all of this.
Yung breaking the vicious cycle.
Yeah,
parang
she's
ganun.
breaking the cycle eh. And yun. Yun yung gustong, for me, yun yung gustong iparating ng pelikula.
Nung structure na pinili nila at the end.
Yung hindi tit for tat eh.
Killing him would still put her in the framework of the patriarchal society, I think, because that's what society expects her to do. And I think I like that decision because that's the very moment where she stepped out from that framework and decided not to kill him.
Doon tinapon niya na yung
Oh,
baril
tinapon
dun
niya yung
sa-
barrel kasi the film is probably saying that it's not the solution to empowerment to
Yeah.
the oppression being experienced by the woman.
Yeah, reject the system instead of yung parang you're still playing into the system.
Although I recognize maraming shortcomings yung film. Pero kasi there's no neat way to present this kind of story. Parang gustong-gusto ko yung flaws niya, gusto ko na meron siya excesses, gusto ko na hindi siya polished. But it was able to put across this very important ideology of the violence in society inflicted on the woman, rooted in history, rooted in our previous experiences.
Yeah.
Diba? Na malawak siya. It's not just about the woman experiencing violence, but it's actually history and everything that happened in the past that allowed us to be violent and allowed us to put the woman in the position of violence, di ba? Ako naman, yun nga, gusto ko yung framework niya, gusto ko yung structure niya. I think there's something about it that's very compelling, especially with the use of sound design and the music.
Yeah.
It's ako yung
music,
nag-put
yeah.
forward nung nomination for the artistic contribution because how it used the Asin song for the middle part, pinagtahi niya yung dalawang story, even in the credits, even the sound design, na nakikita mo is trying to do genre work as well. But without, like Kaaway sa Sulod, without compromising what it's trying to say politically.
Yun, Jim.
Ako naman, kasi ina-appreciate yung works na ginawa or films na nagawa ni Janine Gutierrez. So, magaling siya in Elise. Pasensya na. Ay, sorry.
Charlie Nancy.
Ayun, I'm sorry, nabanggit ko. Pero,
Paki-cut out.
Huwag bigyan ng plataforma.
Abangan ng episode na.
So ngayon, consecutive films na nagawa niya this year na maganda. So, eto nga, Elise and then Babae at Baril. Tapos from the start pa lang, simula pa lang nung pelikula, nakuha na niya yung interest ko. Kasi from the soundtrack and then the cinematography, di ba na, wow, parang ganda naman ng Cubao. In reality, hindi ganun, di ba, hindi naman ganun ka-pleasant tingnan talaga. Especially if nighttime, di ba? And that's because of Take Clamor's cinematography, di ba?
Amen.
And ganun. Tapos nung napag-usapan nga namin to nila Lee after watching the film, di ba? Yung naging lang namin, parang concern namin with the film. Hook na kami with Janine Gutierrez. However, with the other stories, hindi na kami masyadong concerned, gano'n, or hindi na kami masyadong interested. Like, for instance, yung kay JC Santos na part or kay Elijah Canlas, gano'n. So, parang we felt lang na okay na yung kay Janine Gutierrez lang. However, I got the point naman ni Richard na parang, nga naman, parang what's the point of the story kung hindi natin makikita yung history, no? So, yun.
Gusto ko lang isingit yung camera work ng friend ko, si Rap Ramirez.
Yes.
Maganda daw yung camera work niya. Hey Rap! Nakikinig daw siya eh.
Pero yung genre elements nga niya, no? Especially that scene with JC Santos. Sobrang ganda ng eksena na yun for me. Or ako lang ba yun? Pero it reminds me of yung yung mga Michael Red, Eric Mati,
So, yung kay JC
scenes ganyan.
Ang
Part siya
galing
nung
ng
backstory
acting ni JC Santos.
na sobrang tense kasi parang basta.
Ayun. I think I have the same sentiments din as Jim. Ang galing nung pagkaka-acting ni Janine Gutierrez as yung the oppressed woman in the society that is dominated by patriarchal views and whatnot. Tapos, ang linis nung nung pagkakagamit niya nung sound, tsaka nung camera work, yung pagkaka-shot ni Tay Clamor nung mga scenes, ang ganda. Parang naisip ko nga at some point, may pagka-Tarantino na may talagang red na red yung pelikula, through and through. Yung naging concern ko doon sa pelikula was the gun story. Iniisip ko talaga, even nung pagkatapos na ng pelikula, kung necessary pa ba siya, kailangan pa ba yung part. Ngayon, medyo naiintindihan ko na kung bakit nga nandun yung part. Pero siguro yung naging problem nung pagkakaposisyon nung story nung barel was hindi dun sa expected mo kung saan mo siya pwedeng ilagay. Kasi banda dun sa dulo, hindi ka na interested masyado dun sa dun sa story ni Janine, nung babae. Kumbaga hindi ka na hook dun sa story nila kasi parang nagzigzag na yung pagkakatuloy nung kwento. Pero ang pinaka talagang na-impress ako dun is how the gun became a symbol for not just power and violence but also of responsibility. Kumbaga, dahil hawak niya yung barel, responsable siya sa iba't ibang mangyayari sa mundo, whether it be good, whether it be bad. So kumbaga, hindi niya alam kung responsible ba siya enough to hold that gun. Kumbaga, it goes to show na we need to understand where we draw the line between having power and not having power. Parang naging ganun yung naging intindi ko dun sa kwento. Pero I think I liked it more than I did not like it. Ngayon na naiisip ko siya.
Ako siguro, yung issue dun sa baril, part kasi talaga siya ng script. Kumbaga parang part siya ng visionary. Pero nag-work siya in a sense na na-subvert yung expectations. Kasi sanay kasi tayo manood ng character-driven na pelikula na may isang, like the character of Janine na sinusundan, na the moment it stopped following her, medyo na-shake tayo doon sa ating expectations na, saan to papunta, etc. Kaya siguro, doon din nanggagaling yung parang hindi natin siya masyadong na at least dun sa iba kasi nabasa ko yung script prior. Ang lagi ko sinasabi, the film has its problems, but these are very interesting problems. Even yung pagtapon niya nung baril sa dagat, 'di ba? Very El Filio na parang 'di ba? Hindi sagot ang revolusyon, kaya hindi sagot ang. Pero yun nga it goes to show yung tradition natin din, tradition ng Pilipino ng pag-iisip regarding violence. ayun, gusto ko siya. Kahit alam kong may mga problema siya, actually, it makes me appreciate it more. Mas may appeal sa akin yung mga ganung pelikula na may mga problemang, na hayag yung mga problema niya at pinapanindigan niya yung problema niya.
Yes.
So, any more?
And I agree din sa sinabi ni Rafi na from the start pa lang, feel mo na siya na the style will be like Tarantino, ganun. So, yun lang.
Yan. Okay. So, let's move on to the next film, Fly By Night. Yan. Directed by Zahir Omar, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Malaysian film about, so there's this family of swindlers who use taxis to scam unscrupulous, unwitting pala, na rich individuals. And then, after a heist, not really a heist, but after an operation gone wrong, which is not directly due to the main guys.
Gone wrong multiple times.
Literally, worst little brother of the year award. So they have to salvage it somehow. And what did you guys think of Fly By Night?
Jim.
Ako nagustuhan ko siya kasi I find it energetic. And then, ngayon pala kasi ako nakapanood ng Malaysian film. And na-impress ako because kaya pala nilang gumawa ng ganitong action thriller na film. And then ang na-impress din ako kay Sunny Pang, si Taiwo, older brother, elder brother.
Mahusay siya.
Chinaman.
Si
Si Chinaman. Tama, Chinaman
Si
nga.
Chinaman
Sorry
yan.
naman, Chinaman yan. Ayun, so, ano pa ba? Ito yung film na pinanood ko na dapat inaantok ako. Pero, ewan ko.
Hindi ka
Nagising ako dito sa pelikula na to because fast-paced din kasi siya. Yun.
Yeah. It's a fun it's a fun crime thriller from Malaysia. Malaysia's produced, crime thrillers of its own, KL Gangster, if you've seen that, stuff like that. But what I appreciated about it is how it parang wove in yung mga its ideas about class, also about race Kasi the film is trilingual. There's Mandarin, there's English, there's Bahasa, and not a lot of films, kasi sabi nga dun sa Q&A, there are not a lot of Malaysian films na ganun siya ka-diverse in terms of parang language or parang presented. Pag Malays lang usually, pag Chinese lang. Reminiscence siya of a digital filmmaker from the early 2000s, si Yasmin Ahmad. She made only a few films kasi namatay siya early. Pero ganun ang kanyang themes more of, yung talagang pinapakita niya yung holistic, kumbaga, na culture ng not just Malays but also relations between Malays and Chinese and yung mga ibang kasi talagang hodgepodge talaga yung sa Malaysia. Halu-halu sila. It's fun, it's nicely acted.
Yes.
Yung gangster na may scar para siyang Malaysian Joker or the Chinese Joker, ganun. Yun. I had fun. Yun. Guys, any other?
Deliberate siguro yun na it's really trying to be diverse. Kasi
Yeah.
yung first target ng group nila, yung itong
Yung Dato.
Malay, Dato daw siya. So parang, I'm not familiar with Malaysian society masyado, pero may masasense ka na there's something cultural or racial divide dito na may tinotouch ng movie. Pero overall, parang okay lang sa akin yung pelikula.
Yeah, may interesting.
Wala bago.
May
Para
interesting-
siyang
Ay, sige.
It's an Eric Mati film.
Oh, yun. Ilunahan mo.
In Malaysia.
Ilunahan mo. Yun lang masasabi ko dito.
On the job, terima kasih. Ganun.
Kaya siguro parang okay lang siya sa akin kasi parang, ay, napanood ko na to. Pero parang may ganito na tayo, ganyan. So, yung mapupulot mo na lang sa kanya is kung ano man yung cultural differences ng setting niya.
Yeah,
Ganun.
it's a nice exercise in genre, but it's also rooted doon sa Malaysia. It's a very Malaysian film.
Yeah.
Truly Asia. Malaysia, truly Asia.
When you say siya, diverse, may halong rich and poor,
Yeah.
Yes.
Chinese. Kasi
Yes.
sa Malaysia, parang ang weird kasi Malaysia pero favorable sa kanila mga Chinese.
So, yun. The Chinese, they speak Chinese. Although there are rich Chinese at meron yung mga Chinese kagaya ni Chinaman na yung mga hustler. Yung mga police force, yung mga entrenched sa government, they're the Bahasa, may mga Malaysians. And then yung mga iba naman, may interesting na sinabi sa Q&A, yung mga Chinese gangsters, they're not really from Malaysia per se. They're
not.
mainland Chinese na pumunta sa Malaysia to conduct criminal activities.
Naalala ko tuloy yung Fly By Night kasi yung friend kong si Emil, sabi niya may mga kamukha daw na Filipino actors.
Oh,
si
marami.
Alvin Anson.
Si Alvin Anson,
Arpa
the police.
Ligaching.
Si RK.
Si Jose Manalo.
Mga usually,
Si Jose
Eric
Manalo.
Matic,
So hindi ko talaga alam kung sino-sino yung mga yan. Pero go!
Ayun. So, yun. Any other?
Yung subtitles niya, 2 lines eh. Chinese and English.
Chinese and English.
talaga?
Pero ganun naman in mga Chinese-speaking countries.
Usual naman. Yun.
Hong Kong, and Taiwan.
Naalala ko nung pinanood ko yan sa Trinoma, kalagitnaan ng film, may pitik siya. So I don't know if it's sa part ng editing or yung sa screening na talaga. So napareact talaga ako ng, shucks, pitik. Kasi alam ko agad yan, pag nagpi-preview kami ng episode namin sa dati kong show. So I don't know kung hindi napansin. Pero ano naman, minor lang. Napansin ko lang na pumitik siya.
May question ako, Chard. Sa mga sorry.
Inambush ka eh.
Ba't may inubos yung french fries? Ganun yung Hindi, yung sa foreign part dito sa Asia Next Wave, how did, aware ka ba kung paano siya na-qualify, ganun?
Yung programmers, si Ed Lejano tsaka si John Badalu, they're the ones who scouted for possible films that could go with the local entries. So may mga requirements din sila na hindi kailangan na malaki yung budget, tapos yung production process hindi rin ganun katagal. So parang they found a way na films that can be comparable at least in terms of production budget and production process dun sa 3 local films.
Okay.
Pero yun, very sophisticated na tong Fly By Night. I mean for that
For
regard.
Malaysian film din.
For that matter. Oo.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay guys, so let's move on to the next film. The Long Walk. It's a Laotian film directed by Matty Daw. LA-born filmmaker, but yeah. So it's about medyo complicated yung It's about this guy.
It's a long walk.
It's a long walk. This guy, he discovers that he can talk to spirits, and one of the spirits can make him travel through time. So
Sorry. Okay, go.
he uses this ghost,
So, horror, fantasy, sci-fi agad siya.
horror, fantasy, sci-fi, all in one. He uses the time-traveling ghost powers to go back in time to change history. But he has a very poor understanding of temporal mechanics and things go terribly wrong. Ganon. So, how many of you have seen The Long Walk? O, kaming dalawa lang ni Chard. Sige, ako na lang muna. The Long Walk is a very ambitious film, kumbaga, in terms of concept, no? Yun nga, horror, sci-fi, lahat na, di ba? Sometimes, it reveals its information very, gradually. If you don't know the synopsis, baka maguluhan kayo. Sometimes it can be frustratingly obscure about what it wants to, about the information it tries to, kasi yung main character, yung matanda, ayaw niyang sumagot sa mga tanong ng mga character niya, ng mga ibang character. So, wala ka masyadong, hindi siya info dump of a story. Parang you have to figure things out by yourself. I liked it actually. It's a nice film about trying to let go. Kasi yun yung pinaka parang siyang, sama ako parang siyang butterfly effect na, hindi ba, ayaw maano ni Ashton Kutcher na mamatay yung kanyang girlfriend, pero ang daming, hindi niya magawa-gawa yung gusto niya magawa. Parang ganun yung na-feel ko dito with this film. And tama lang na nanalo yung bata, ang cute-cute ng bata. And it goes to a narrative place na I'm not 100% agree with, pero I get what he's trying to say na yun nga, yung his attachment to worldly things, parang yun yung nag-doom sa kanya in the end. Ayan, spoiler alert. Ayun, okay naman siya. Chard, what did you think about this film?
Ito yung huling film na napanood namin dun sa Asia Next Wave. nagkukwentuhan kami ni Sir Ricky Lee. So parang ang aming assessment is that karamihan ng mga films dun sa competition, or I guess karamihan din ng mga films na papanood namin recently, it has something to do with fragmented reality. So parang if you see something like The Long Walk, Suburban Birds, even Kaaway sa Sulod, even Nakorn sa One, there's this idea of a reality fragmented, either by the past or by the characters, na parang it's very reflective of the times. Na parang
That's
there's
true.
something chaotic about what's happening in society at present, that filmmakers translate that kind of imbalance in their films. Diba, Nakorn sa One, yung docu, tsaka yung fiction, Suburban Birds, yung past and present. Itong The Long Walk, past and present din. Kaaway sa Sulod, dalawang characters na magkamukha na hindi naman magkamag-anak. So there's, nafe-feel namin na parang yung filmmaking, at least from Asia, na re-reflect niya yung ganong sort of difficulty and intricacy in terms of trying to find out identities and different political ideologies.
Yeah, and truth, di ba? Kasi, di ba, this is the era of fake news, eh, no? So, you're sometimes people are trying to pass off.
And may mga films na
false
nakakatawid, like I'm a big fan of Suburban Birds.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
nakukuha ko siya. Itong The Long Walk, siguro ang long lang niya kasi talaga. Mahaba kasi talaga yung pelikula. Tapos parang medyo na-confuse na yun siya sa kanyang science fiction element. Parang feeling ko towards the end, hindi siya totally nag-cohere.
Yeah.
Like, yung ambitious kasi yung pelikula talaga.
It's very ambitious.
Pero, hindi naman ambition yung hinahanap ko para maitawid siya.
Yeah.
Yung sort of, understanding what it's trying to say. Oo. Pero, na-appreciate ko sa kanya, kaunti kasi talaga yung mga pelikula na pa-produce from Lao. Parang fewer than 10.
Yeah.
Ganun ka-konti. So parang to create something like this, it's already, I think, an achievement.
Yeah.
Pero nakaka-curious kasi naalala ko tong si Mati Do. May pelikula siya like, I think to 2016 or 2017.
Yung Dearest Sister.
Yung Dearest Sister.
Dearest Sister.
Pansin ko lang na comparing that film to this film, parang there's something na ini-evoke niya about sa patay. Kasi sa Dearest Sister, patay din yun, di ba? Kaya niya mag-communicate sa dead.
She's from LA, tas nag-relocate siya sa Laos. So, my concern is yung the way that she interprets the socio-political of our
Meron naman.
country. Is it
I mean,
influence ng Laos mismo or with her Western influences?
may nakuha naman siya. Oo. There's a scene in the future, like, this is a future scene na everything is cashless, naka-microchip silang lahat. Pero yun nga, kahit na poor farmer yung main character, parang hindi pa rin siya umaasenso. And there's also a scene na may NGO na nag-install ng solar panel sa bahay nila. Pero they're completely misunderstanding yung needs ng community. Parang kasi this is not what we do, di ba?
Yun yung magandang element ng film, no? Yung modern elements and the traditional elements.
Yeah, they're
so
mingling.
parang meron siyang side na pinapakita na nagpo-progress, quote-unquote, na yung lipunan, may technologies na and all. But then again, may mga hindi pa rin talaga maiwan na parts, na aspect ng tradition na nandoon pa rin, di ba? Yung paniniwala sa, di ba?
Sa
spirits, etc.
Pati yung police which is parang a government, di ba? They approach the old man at the first parang part of the film, parang to contact the spirit of yung nawawalang babae.
So we can say na yung mga pag-communicate ng characters sa ghosts in Mati Do's films, parang siya, reflective siya ng tradition. Ganun yung intention.
Pwede rin yun, pwedeng connecting with the past. Depends on your interpretation of the film. Ayun. Any more comments on The Long Walk? It's a long walk.
To be continued.